Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here with another Way Back Wednesday where I will be talking about all the books I read in March of 2022. Looking at my Goodreads, I read a total of 9 books this month. 2 of them were rereads, the rest were new. I am not sure if the St. Martin's Press boycott is still going on. One of these books was published by not an affiliate, it's a, subsidiary, I think that's what it's called, of St. Martin's Press. And so just to be, I just don't know, so I'm just not going to talk about that one. So know that I read 9 books. I'm only talking about 8 because I'm not sure what the status of the boycott is at this time. I read a lot of books by the same authors. It looks like I read the next 3 Zodiac Academy books. So those would be Ruthless Fae, The Reckoning, and Shadow Princess. Those are by Carolyn Peckman and Susan Valenti. I was really into these books, obviously, but I remember that the end of the 4th one made me so mad that I stopped reading them because I was so mad at one of the characters. And eventually I'm going to go back and read these books because there are 8, and I've read the first 4. I don't know how they end, but I need to reread them. Maybe I will. I will reread them because that's what I do with series when I have to continue on. If I haven't finished them, I like to go back and reread the first books that I have finished before I go on with the series. These were pretty easy to read. They're thick, they're chunky books, but they're spicy fae books. It is about 2 twins who find out that they are fae princesses. They go to this realm where they go to a school for magic. And they have to learn about magic and fight against the 4 heirs that are ruling the kingdom right now in their stead because their parents died and they disappeared, so no one was there to rule the kingdom. So anyway, I don't remember what happens really in any of these books, and it's hard to talk about what happens because it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th book in a series. But I did continue reading Zodiac Academy, and again, I have not read any past this because I was just so mad when I finished the 4th one. I also read 2 more books in the Percy Jackson series. I read The Sea of Monsters and The Titan's Curse. Those are books 2 and 3 in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is the first 5 books by Rick Riordan in the Percy Jackson series. So in the 2nd one, you are following Annabeth and Percy. They are going on a quest to find the Golden Fleece to save Camp Half-Blood, so they have to go across the Sea of Monsters. This is my least favorite book in the series. I don't know what it is about 2nd books, but a lot of times when there's, a series, I find that the 2nd book just doesn't hit right for me. I've read this one, and I've read it several times because I can't skip books when I'm rereading series, but this is definitely not my favorite, and we pretend that the movie doesn't exist because although the first movie was not a good adaptation, this one was horrendous. So if you're interested in the movies, just watch the first one and don't bother with the 2nd one. The Titan's Curse is probably my 2nd favorite in the series. In this one, you meet Nico and Bianca D'Angelo. Percy and Bianca, along with the Hunters of Artemis, go on a quest across the country to save someone. The Hunters of Artemis, and someone is missing. Oh my gosh. I should know what happens in this book, but I don't remember what happens in this book. The thing that I remember about this book, when they're going across the country, they stop at the Hoover Dam. And so they keep making a joke about it where they're like, where's the damn snack bar? I'm going to get some damn nachos. But they spell it D-A-M because they're at the Hoover Dam. So they're like, haha, we can cuss, but it's not really cussing because we're talking about the snack bar at the Hoover Dam. Anyway, that's that's a ridiculous thing to remember, but that's what I remember about this book, and I think it's really funny, and I have a sticker on my work laptop that says Hoover Dam. I've never been to the Hoover Dam, but every time I see stickers about it, it reminds me of Percy Jackson, and so that's why I have it on my laptop. I also started reading the Wicked Villains series by Katie Robert. I read the first two this month. Those are Desperate Measures and Learn My Lesson. Katie Robert writes retellings of stories that are spicy. And so Desperate Measures is a retelling of Jafar and Jasmine from Aladdin. And again, spicy. Learn My Lesson, you are following Hercules, Meg, and Hades. She has a whole like city world set up. All of these characters are interconnected. Like you hear about Hades and Meg in the first book in Desperate Measures. There are a bunch of books in this series. I can't remember how many, and I think I've read all of them. I've read almost all of them, and I think she just came out with a new one. I haven't read it yet, though. They're kind of like the Fractured Fairy Tales by Emily McIntyre, but way spicier, and I actually prefer these better. I love Katie Roberts' writing. I've read a lot of her books. I've read almost all the Wicked Villain series, and I've read almost all of the Dark Olympus series. So if you're looking for, a fairy tale retelling or a villain retelling with a lot of spice, check these books out. And the only other book that I'm going to talk about that wasn't part of a series was My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This is, well, okay, at the time, it wasn't part of a series. It's a trilogy now. It's the Indian Lake trilogy. This is the first one in the Indian Lake trilogy. The October before this, so in October of 2021, Stephen Graham Jones actually came to my library and did like a speaking session, a panel. And so I got to hear him speak about this book, and he said that he originally was not going to make it a trilogy. It was just a single book, and then his publishers wanted him to turn it into a trilogy. And so that's why I say it wasn't part of a series. And at the time, the second one and the third one had not come out. The second one didn't come out until last year, and the third one came out earlier this year. Anyway, in My Heart is a Chainsaw, you are following Jade Daniels. She is in high school in this very small town in Wyoming? She's in a very small town. I can't remember where. I think Wyoming. That could be completely wrong. She is obsessed with horror movies and slashers. She knows all the rules of horror movies, and she's obsessed with Final Girls. Well, things start happening in Proof Rock. I remember that. That's where she is. Proof Rock. And people start dying, and she thinks that there is a slasher on the loose, and she is trying to protect who she thinks is the final girl. And that's the book. And then it ends, and you pick up 4 years later with the second book. I liked this book when I read it. I just love Stephen Graham Jones' writing. I think it's so unique, and I really liked the character of Jade. I feel like she was a very strong female character, but she also showed some vulnerability, and she grew throughout this book, and you just really felt for her. You could tell that she is a loner. She doesn't have very many friends, but she's trying to change that in order to save the girl who she thinks is the final girl in her town. But overall, if you like horror movies and you like slashers and you want to check out a slasher book, I suggest checking out the Indian Lake trilogy. And again, the first one is My Heart is a Chainsaw. So those are all the books that I read in March of 2022. Pretty good reading month. Lots of series reading that month. Again, I only read by a couple of authors because I just kept going through series. But I would reread, I think every one of these books I would reread. I enjoyed them. This was a much better month than February was. So now I want to know, have you read any of these books? What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.